we were dirt poor, broke, couldn't afford to do anything anyways. So I'm just living off credit cards. So I racked up $25,000 in debt. That's the last thing I remember because I got knocked out completely cold in that match. Johnny Ace pulled me into his office and he just blew me off and he turned his back to me and walked away. And I'm like, oh, and I go, he was so high on me like he wanted to sign me the day before.
He's the machine, Brian Cage!
Cage, look at this!
Oh, is it drill claw time?
Cage has EC3 up! Ah!
Brian Cage.
That's me.
I want to go back because here's the thing. You are making your comeback into the AEW ring after a really big setback. But setbacks are not new to you. You've had many, right? Before we talk about that though, I want to backtrack all the way back to how Brian Cage was created, because this doesn't happen by accident. The resilience, the fortitude, the person that you have created, this is absolutely something that has been built and created over time. So let's go back, take me back to when you were younger and how you grew up, and start with that.
Funny enough then, I didn't do anything in athletics at all. One, because we were dirt poor, broke, couldn't afford to do anything anyways. I remember we eventually played one season of Pop Warner football when I was a little kid, also because we had to like get money for like everyone in the family to be able to afford one thing. And then my mom put us on the team across town because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And I remember I hated it because I knew nobody, like everyone was on the other team.
Yeah.
So then like I was very much like a shell of myself because I'm like, shy, embarrassed. I'm like, oh, I don't want to play now because I don't know anybody. Whereas as far as we'll call it backyard ball or playing just sports, you know, at school and with all my friends, I did everything and I excelled, especially at football too, a lot. As I got older, and even we'll jump ahead a little bit here for a second. Like even in high school, I'd be like, oh, why don't you play for football for the team, or they'd say, why don't you wrestle as well? Because you know how much I wanted to be a wrestler always. And I hated going to school, so I did not want to spend one single minute there longer than I had to be. So I did not want to be on the football team just for the sake of being on the football team, especially because I had no desire. Everything revolved on wrestling. Like I don't want to play football. I don't want to be a football player. Yeah. I enjoy playing football, but I have no accolades in ever pursuing that. So why would I want to waste my time? And then I was a big actual skateboarder in high school as well, which I did love. And then going back to the wrestling aspect, I used to always hear that from different coaches, different people, and I thought it had nothing to do with like, you know, the real wrestling that I wanted to do. Yeah. Funny enough too, I'd always be like, oh, that gay wrestling, especially back in that time. when awkwardly enough, I'm like, oh, but we actually wear less clothes and are oiled up. You know, like, maybe my wrestling is a little more the gay wrestling, but nevertheless, when I first started training pro wrestling too, I realized how much, we'll say collegiate, amateur, high school, however you want to call it, wrestling does translate into it, because that's how pro wrestling started. Right. Was actually from real wrestling.
When did you realize that you were, an athlete? I mean, there's a moment for me, I have been an athlete my whole life, and there's that moment where, you know, all the kids have to race in the schoolyard, and nobody's faster than me. And then that moment, I'm like, I think there's something in me that's a little different. Like I said,
like we still played sports all the time.
Yeah.
Did not like soccer, so I don't think I was ever great at soccer. But like every time, whether it be in the schoolyard or friends, wherever else, everything else we did, I excelled. Like I was always one of the first picked to play everything. So so I knew I was athletic and good at a lot of different sports. I just had no desire to like be in any sports team because I had no, especially after even that Pop Warner one, which I think I would have been better, enjoyed more had it been with all my friends. Yeah. But to see how like structured and regimented it was, I was like, I don't want to do this. This isn't fun. I just want to go play football when I want to play football for fun. Like I didn't take it that serious. I don't want to play it to like actually like I didn't have the competitive drive because I didn't want to play football like that.
So you didn't really play sports in high school?
Nope.
But at college?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Nothing. Just like I said, played all sports with my friends, skateboarded, and then like we mentioned earlier during the workout, I was a big backyard wrestler. That was really popular, like in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Backyard wrestling?
Yes. So then I even became. It was almost like I ran the promotion, which led into me actually running a legit independent wrestling promotion, which was absolutely a blast. But
that's actually badass.
So like we used to.
That's
cool.
Cool.
So we'd always here's how the evolution of it. So like we'd always like roughhouse right in the house. And your mom would be like, stop it, you're gonna break something, blah blah blah. We actually ended up getting grounded from wrestling for like 2 years, from like 3rd grade to 5th grade. And I only started watching wrestling again because
Grounded by your parents?
Yeah, so we couldn't watch anymore. And then, like none of us. I have 3 brothers.
Yeah.
There's just 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And so we weren't allowed to watch wrestling forever. And then Monday nights in 5th grade became frozen food nights. It was like the night my mom wouldn't cook and it'd be the night off. So we would make whatever, TV dinner situation, and we'd just go to rooms and watch TV. And then we just saw that wrestling was on. I'm like, oh, so we always close the door and like turn the volume down. And it was like we're watching like porn or something. Like I was trying to be secretive about it.
Okay, but who were you watching back then?
No, it was WWF.
But who were your idols?
You already know this. What's his name?
Sean.
Sean what?
Sean.
Oh.
Sean.
At least you got the first name right. Shawn Michaels, yes. So actually, at that point in time, 5th grade, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon were my 2 favorites. And Shawn's been my lifelong favorite. And it's funny, his boyhood dream to be a pro wrestler was at the age of 12. I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided I really wanted to be a pro wrestler. So
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, I got him beat by 2 years. I'm not much better. But and I remember our stepdad walked in on us one time. And we're like, oh, like trying to change the channel. Like he's like, "What? You guys are supposed to be watching that?" And we had a little meeting in our living room. Mom's like, "All right, fine, you guys can watch it, but you guys start ref housing again and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Break,
And there's worse things that kids could be sneaking off and doing.
Well, you know what, too, and I was actually a terrible kid too. I mean, we can even dive into some of that. Nothing to do with athletics, but oh my gosh, I was a nightmare kid. I actually started writing a little bit of a biography about myself while I was injured this past year. And I'm writing all these different stories and things and how I remember them, and I'm laughing, and I think it's kind of funny, and telling certain stories. And then the more I keep on writing it all, and then I'm like going back and I'm reading it, and I go, man, I don't know if this is going to this might just come across like I'm a total little asshole rather than,
what did you do that
rather than funny.
Okay, well, tell me, what did you do that made you such a bad kid?
So I mean, you have like just like the normal stuff of just like lying or not listening to your mom kind of situation. I think I got like 14 pink slips in 1 month in school. I got in a lot of school fights, and even that's kind of a normal stuff. And then like some of the extracurricular activities you do. So I was a big pyromaniac. I was a very young one. I'd light everything on fire.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
There's this stuffed cushion in this chair we're lighting on fire. Me and my friend Javon and Willie were all there, and we're like melting it, and I'm the ringleader. They're just like kind of watching me. And Javon doesn't have a shirt on, and I go, "Hey, Javon, catch!" And I throw the fire flame ball stuffing at him that sticks to his chest and starts burning him, obviously. So I jump on him and cover his mouth because I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna get in trouble." And I'm like, "Willie, grab his legs!" We drag him over to the hose and try to hose him off, and he's screaming and crying. And I'm like, "Oh shit, we're gonna get in trouble!" So run, Willie, run!
That's what you're thinking. We're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I'm gonna get grounded, and his older brother Julian's gonna beat my ass. Like, we gotta get out of here.
Oh my God.
That's the one thing. I even calculated it. I remember we divided this crazy plan where me and like 3 or 4 of my other friends, I think it was 3, we're all telling each other's parents, not mine though, that we're all going to go to Chuck E. Cheese, with somebody else's parents or whatever else, thinking we're, slick. And we walked, and I didn't know how far it was, and I mapped it out from like that apartment complex that a lot of my friends lived out to the Chuck E. Cheese, which was over 2 miles. And we're in 2nd grade. And I walked over 2 miles to go to Chuck E. Cheese with all of them. And right when we got to the parking lot too, a friend of one of my friend's parents saw us because everybody's out looking for us. Really my fault because we told everybody else's parents and like kind of lied, made it look like we were going with this person, that person, this person. We didn't go back to my house at all, and my mom had just started a new job slightly out of town, and so we had a new babysitter, and Brian never came home. So then they're freaking out and trying to figure out where I went. So I got beat real bad for that one. Yeah, this myth too of like white people don't get beat. Well, my mom didn't get that memo because I get beat all the time. But I also was a really bad kid. And then I got grounded for 2 weeks, and it was the first time I couldn't wait to go to school because the first week I was grounded just in my room, no video games, no TV. My brothers weren't allowed to go in there, nothing. All I had was my wrestling figures, and that was it. And then the second week, I was allowed 10-minute visitations like I'm in prison through the screen door on the porch. And then, so that was as much as, even when I got grounded, I was like, oh, at least I'm not getting spanked. And as my mom got up, she pulled the spoon out from the back of her pocket. I'm like, damn it. A big one that I thought was never that big until I really thought about it, I found, so we lived too, I said we're broke. So we lived in this like a mobile home, like trailer park situation. And I found this piece of metal, this like metal straw thing that, and everybody had like the same back door.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much messed with our back door, and I was able to unlock it. I'm like, oh, does that mean I can unlock everyone's back door.
Oh no.
So like I used to always walk around the fence line just because I would. So I'm walking around the fence line. I would jump into people's backyards. And I'd go to their back door when they're at home. I would unlock it and I would go in their house and I would eat their popsicles, wherever, like frozen dessert. I'd take change off the counter. I'd play with their kids' toys or look for, one that I wanted.
You were a bad kid.
All the while thinking it's not that big of a deal. Like I remember even like finding a condom one time, not knowing what it was either. But I was like, oh, that looks like something I'm not supposed to have. I'll take that. Like, yeah. So like, I mean, I can keep going on forever. I'll take up the whole interview. But yeah. So
no. Well,
this is all like I said, like second grade-ish, so it's pretty young.
This is just as well. This actually tells a lot about you because you are much into fantasy. You seem to like comics.
Yes. Yep.
Comic
Big
books,
comic fan.
fantasy. You're not in the real world. You're kind of in this alternate universe, enjoying your childhood in a totally fantastical way. And that kind of does lead us into this world of wrestling that you were obsessing over at a really young age too. You were obsessing over wrestling. You wanted to be involved in it. That's how most people that are successful in anything start. You're obsessed in this world. At what point did you start really seriously? Okay, this is my thing.
So, like I said, like around 10 was when I wanted to be a wrestler. Like it's still like a childhood dream, like fantasy. Yeah. And I joked and you bring up the superheroes. I was like, I really want to be a superhero and I really want to be a wrestler. And I guess the superhero business isn't doing too good, so maybe I'll try to be a wrestler. And even then, at that age, people of course were like, oh, that's cute. And here comes sixth grade, here comes junior high, and I want to be a wrestler. And like, oh, really though? You'll grow out of that. I'm like, no. Then here's high school, then graduate high school, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna be a wrestler. Yeah. Even my friends I would back and wrestle with, they're like, wait, are you really gonna be like?
I'm surprised you didn't join the wrestling team.
I look back. That's my only. I don't regret not playing football. I don't regret anything else.
God,
my only
so good.
one regret. Well, because it's funny as well. Because you do learn, some basic stuff too from amateur wrestling in the pro league. And I would train actually with one of my friends who was training pro wrestling with me, who actually was a coach for the junior high as well. He would help coach with the junior high team. But anytime I wrestle around with anybody, or we call it shoot wrestling or roll, everyone thinks that I did because of just how I move and like my natural stuff.
I assumed you were a
so
wrestler.
I was like, oh, well, that's always nice to kind of hear. So I'd be like, oh, you wrestled, right? You did? I go, no. And they're like, what? They're always confused or surprised by that. But I'm all over the place. But yeah, so that age, I kept growing up. Hold on, let's flip the script. Let's go back to the backyard wrestling deal. Because I got sidetracked.
Yeah, backyard wrestling, because you created your own league.
Yeah, well, because I got sidetracked with being grounded, and I talked about how bad of a kid I was. So, it was rough-housing, and then we'd go outside, and then we'd all wrestle. So, like, first it was this one little grassy area we'd always wrestle on, and so it kind of had a border. Yeah. And so it would kind of be like like a King of a Mountain thing, or in WWF, it's called, or WWE, it's called a Royal Rumble. So, like, we'd always kind of try to eliminate everybody. And it was all the neighborhood kids. And I remember just like in like a classic like heel fashion in wrestling, it would always come down to usually me and my two brothers, almost always. And I would always convince my younger brother, like, hey, let's work together and get rid of Eric, my older brother. Yeah. Because I knew in my head I could get rid of Justin on my own, so that way I could win. But Eric, my older brother, would get rid of me. So like, all right, if we get 2-on-1 him. Anyways, and I actually fell one time on a sprinkler head and almost slipped my wrist.
Oh shoot.
That was my first little battle scar. But so that evolved to like where we try to have like more matches, do more moves.
Yeah.
And I remember like you had to be like a person you look like or your name resembled. And then it had been slowly evolving. We'd have more and more like I mean they weren't great, but like we thought like legitimate matches.
Yeah.
And one time my friend was gonna hit me with this piece of glass from this poster case, and I was like, dude, we got to get that recorded, because like, yeah, I'll take it.
Oh no, this doesn't sound good.
No, it went great. It was awesome. And then recorded, and he hit me with it, and it was nuts. And we'd never recorded before. Then after we recorded it and we watched it back, we're like, the epiphany. I'm like, why weren't we recording matches all the time? So then we started doing it all the time, and then now I'm booking like the matches, and like now we're trying to have like storylines and this and that. And obviously it's just for ourselves. Which is like cracking me up. And then there'd be other backyard wrestling. I remember there's other group of friends, and they had their own little like backyard wrestling league, and so it was almost like like an inner city war of like, or my little backyard wrestling league versus your backyard, we're two different rival gangs or something. It was so funny.
Okay, I have a question about this. You have your all these backyard wrestling back when you were a kid, are any of these people still doing what you're doing? You're the only one that's...
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like I know it too, because I said even people heard like, oh, you really want to do this? And I'm sure all of them had aspirations to do it, but like...
You were serious.
Yeah, I mean, just like I'm sure you know too, like there's so many people that want to do something, that they want to diet, they want to do shows, they want to, but then there's difference between wanting it and actually doing it.
You did it.
And I never had a doubt either. I was like, no, I'm absolutely going to do this. So as we evolved the wrestling league, our backyard league, when we started to like make it legitimized. So I lived in these townhouses called Manzanita Apartments. So the little group we had in the backyard league was called MWF, which is Manzanita Wrestling Federation.
Okay.
But I wanted to keep those initials when I had like my actual promotion, so I kept it MWF, and then I called it Main Event Wrestling Federation, and then that's actually where I got to have like I consider my first pro match against one of my all-time favorites and idols, Chris Canyon, who came down into my hometown, and I got to wrestle him actually not once but twice in my home promotion, and it was phenomenal. So that really launched a lot of things for me, and then he actually helped me get into eventually Deep South Wrestling, which was a developmental program for WWE. I was there uncontracted, like I was like on a we'll call it like to relate to like normal world. It was like a foreign exchange student kind of situation.
Yeah. What's that process look like for somebody that's an aspiring wrestler who wants to get into a league? How does that even happen?
It's not the same now. It's actually much easier now than it was then, for sure. So I was compared to like being like an indie rock and roll band, like because you go and you start to perform, and you perform at these low end places for no money and this and that. And maybe you start to build up enough namesake where you can open up for somebody who's kind of like well known, and maybe you get gas money or this, that, and like, so obviously you just kind of build yourself. So I mean, I'd be working my shoot job, as we call it, my real job, and I'd try to get off early, and I would be driving down almost every show for me, because I lived up in Chico, California, which was not close to anything. And it was almost always a 3-hour drive to get somewhere where I had a show, and I wouldn't get paid anything. And eventually, every now and then, I'd get $20. But I'd do that, then I would drive the 3 hours back, super late at night, get up, go back to work, try to get up early, drive down, stop to get gas. I'd change my wrestling gear at the gas station usually, because then we'd be at the show late, and whatever, you just grind away like that. That's kind of like just how it would work. And then you would hope to like get seen or get noticed enough where you could get we call it like a dark match or tryout with like WWE or whatever promotion trying to get into, which then something could happen, something could not happen. I had the lucked out with the connection with Canyon that helped get me to Deep South, which didn't get me a contract, but it got me a cool opportunity that not a lot of people got exposed to. I didn't end up getting signed while I was there, and they actually ended up closing up shop and moving to Florida. And did FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling. And I remember when I was there, I had my oldest son at the time, and I had permission of his mom. We were still together then. To go there and train. And I remember it was super culture shock, and I had a really good job back home, and obviously, his mom and my son. And a lot of people sometimes look at it as like, oh, I just left my responsibilities, didn't care, when it was total vice versa. It was painstaking and hard to be away from him at such a young age and miss out so much. And I remember I bought a laptop because I had him then, just so I could try to like video call them. And that's actually when I made a MySpace too, to date it back. So I always thought that was dumb.
MySpace.
But there's to make more in contact with like everyone back home while I was on this like journey. And I remember like even as painful as it was, I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to chase this dream that I've wanted since I was a kid, and more so too for motivation for my son to see, oh look, Dad went chase a dream and made it happen. And it didn't happen then.
That counts for a lot.
There was a lot of setbacks from it too. Like sometimes too, like when you make it, people feel like, oh, you just had an easy pathway. It must have been easy. Like no, not that I lose all the time with my son, but like I wasn't really making any money, and that was the first time I realized there's a difference between state minimum wage and federal minimum wage. So like, and I had a really good job that paid really well, especially at that time period. And then I'm over here working on the LA Fitness for Georgia state minimum wage, which is $5.15 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I'm making new money, and I'm sending all the money cash back home for her. So I'm just living off credit cards. So I racked up $25,000 in debt, chasing that dream. So it's almost like a school student loan, right? And I mean, that haunted me for a while, but thankfully I mean, because of wrestling, eventually paid it off, and I have an
Yeah.
amazing credit now. So, but yeah, no, there's a lot of ups and
Wow.
downs through all that. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
an easy process, but a lot of that was, not was I so determined to like never not make it, but having my son at such a young age and unplanned though, did always make me want to like succeed just to lead by example. So.
Yeah, yeah. Take me to the first moment you were on, you got welcomed out in the ring, getting ready for a match, where you just had that feeling, that just overwhelming feeling that, wow, I've made it. There had to be that moment where you're like, wow, this is.
Like, I mean, even through all my like first couple years independent wrestling in California, I always felt like I was, I had good friends, like I don't know, an outsider, just because like I'd always show up almost later to the shows because I mean, not to throw everyone under the bus, but I felt like a lot of those people were kind of losers, didn't have a real job, just had this chasing this dream of like,
Yeah.
oh hey, we're just a big fish in a small pond in this
Yeah.
local promotion. Where I'm like, no, I'm out here, hustling, grinding a real job, trying to take care of my kids,
Yeah.
freaking working out. Like a lot of these guys too don't look the party, they are very out of shape, very overweight, whatever
Yeah.
the case.
That's always been your signature.
Right, like, and I remember people would like mock me too because I'd show up, with even then, and then my meal prep then I would just make a huge thing of like pasta and chicken.
Yeah.
I just make a huge pot and I just eat it throughout a couple days. And like
pasta and chicken?
Yeah, or whatever it'd be. It's always something simple and very low cost. But I always had food. I always had my 10.71 pound of Optimum Nutrition protein bag that everybody called my dog food, which they don't sell anymore because protein powder is way more expensive now.
Yeah.
But it was so funny when I finally got signed to WWE, everyone who mocked me also were like, hey.
Right.
What were you eating? What were you doing? What was this? What was that? And I'm like, oh, now you guys care. But to answer your question, maybe it was my first dark match I had in WWE because that's what led to me getting signed to WWE. And I had a bunch of, like, even when I went to Deep South and whatever, like, kind of like relaying it back to like the football days, like across town. Like, 'cause I didn't know anybody. Like, even though I was good, since like I didn't know anybody, I felt so out of place. And like the new kid in school, I felt so shy. So I felt like then I can't perform. Like I'm like, oh, hesitant. Even as I got better, it wasn't that I got better. I just started to slowly get more comfortable. But my first dark match around WWE, I wasn't nervous at all. Like, not even a little bit. I remember I knew one of the guys from my friend Canyon that was working. It was a tag team match. I met the other guy, and they seemed so interested in me, and like they really wanted to sign me. And it was crazy how nervous I wasn't. And I remember standing. It's called the go position or gorilla position.
Yeah.
You're behind the curtain, kind of like warming up, spraying water, oil on you, like pumping up, whatever, loosen up. And that's the last thing I remember because I got knocked out completely cold in that match.
Yeah.
And first time I've ever been completely concussed and unconscious.
Oh, gosh.
And I remember I've seen the tape, so I have that implanted memory, and then just when people told me of like repeating myself, this, that, whatever else. And I remember they seemed so high on signing me, and like, oh, come talk to me, like the main guy, the sign talent, after the match. And I didn't, right, because I don't know where I am or anything. And it was a 3-day booking though, so I went back the next day, and they didn't let me get in the ring or let me do anything because I'm concussed, but I'm still booked, still paid. And then I go to the next day, and the first 2 days were SmackDown, and the last day was Raw. So it was kind of a different medical team, different wrestler, different everybody. So like nobody really knew that I got concussed. So I got in the ring even though I wasn't supposed to. The night before though, the agent that had my match, Jamie Noble, was like, hey, he goes, hey man, I look like, like they were interested in you, and I know, shit happens, you got knocked out. He goes, but I'll try to talk to Johnny Ace for you. That was the guy that was doing the hiring then. And, I'll let you know what happens. And then I go to him at the end of the night and I go, hey, did you talk to Johnny? And he goes, no, but we're going to go to Australia for a little bit, but, we have your information, yada, yada, we'll be in touch. And I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. And I'm like, it sucks. That doesn't work for me. Yeah. So like, F it, I'm going to go talk to him. So I'm looking for him. I see him and he's busy and everybody's coming up to him, this, that. And I'm waiting for an opportunity, and I realized it wasn't going to happen, so I made my opportunity. I went up there and went, hey, excuse me, Mr. Ace. And I put my hand out to shake his hand. I go, I don't mean to interrupt. And he went, yeah, kid, that's what you're doing. That's how he sounds. And he turned his back to me and walked away. And I'm like, oh, and I go, he was so high on me, like he wanted to sign me the day before. So it was so defeated.
That was a letdown.
And I was like, all right, well, whatever. I'll show up to Raw tomorrow. I'll get paid. I'll eat some catering. They have awesome catering. And whatever. I'll just, make the best of it. Maybe I'll get booked again. And then at the end of the night, Johnny Ace pulled me into his office. And he goes, and I felt so confident, like I said, I wasn't nervous at all. Like you said, I felt like, oh man, I made it, I'm about to get signed, this is it. And then I pulls me in his office out of nowhere after he just blew me off, and he goes, hey kid, how can you make me money? And I was just like, totally caught off guard. I was like, I don't know, I do stuff, like I didn't know what to say. And he goes, stop, he's like, you need more confident. And he goes,
he said you need more confidence?
you need to be more confident, yeah. He goes, because when I first saw you, you know, I thought maybe I'd want to sign you, and I wanted to see how you were, and you were great in the match, and you know, whatever. He starts like just kind of, he goes, oh, we need more confidence and this, that. So the way he's talking to me, I feel like it's good. I go, okay. He's kind of like, oh yeah, we're interested in you, you know, like you. So I'm thinking like, oh, I'll probably get booked again, and it's so a step forward, right? And then he just goes, are you willing to go to Florida? Because that's where the developmental place was. And I go, I mean, oh, yeah. And he goes, okay, well, go find Mark Carano and welcome to the team. And I'm like, well,
you just give me chills.
I was like, what? And then I couldn't believe it. Then I walk out of his office just dumbfounded. Like,
I'm really going to enjoy the catering now.
I'll go, did I just get signed? And then I went, who the fuck is Mark Carano? Because I didn't know that was. And then where I found him signed, and yeah, it was great. So the fact that
getting signed and getting booked are two different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're booked, you're booked as an extra.
Yeah.
Which AEW does as well.
But signed means you're like in.
Yeah. I just got signed. And I'm like, oh, dude, which that's what everybody wants. And I remember when I was in high school, everybody kept saying like, oh, you think you're really gonna make it? You're really making it. I remember specifically my sophomore PE teacher, who I was really cool with, who he actually helped me get into fitness more too. He ran a personal fitness class in senior year that I was in. And then, because I was only like 150 pounds in high school too. Like, so that was not, the muscular machine that I am today. And he's like, hey, if you want, I have summer school. I'll open the weight room for you if you want to. So that every day of the summer after I graduated, I'd get up in the morning. Yeah. I'd eat me a bowl of cereal, 'cause, that's all I had then. But and then I would jog to my high school, and he'd open up the weight room, and I would just work out every single day. So that's how I kind of got into fitness and like fell in love with it.
Yeah.
But
how old were you when you got signed?
So I was supposed to so he's like, oh, you really think you're gonna make it? I go, I guarantee by the time I'm 24, I'll get signed. And when I was 24, I got signed.
You got signed at 24.
Yep.
So, isn't it interesting how that works? People, they doubt you and they don't believe in you and everything like that. And then as soon as you do get exactly what you said that you're going to get there, like they want to be your friends, they want to know how you did it. It's like the secret was that you just kept going even when everybody was doubting you.
Because everybody, and even my mom, like, because there's still more ups and downs even after I got signed, because I ended up getting let go and stuff. And like my mom was always like so proud of me, but at the same time was always like, oh, are you going to give up now? Like even when I had that first extra spot, which led to me getting signed, she was like, oh, so if you don't get signed, like, are you going to stop? I go, what? No, like, I just made a cool jump forward. Why would I just stop? Like, if it doesn't happen, like, it's not like 0 to hero.
Like, we're just getting started, Mom.
Yeah. It's funny though, the doubting line, the good job I did have when I left to go to Deep South when I was training there, uncontracted. Yeah. I remember when I quit my job, my boss was actually one of my like group of friends' dad, and he pulled me in to like talk to me, and he basically goes, hey. He goes, I want to talk to you. I know you're trying to leave to go do this wrestling thing. And he was like, and he wasn't doing it maliciously, even though it still came across like he was being an ass. But he was basically like, listen, like, don't go do this. Like, it's not going to happen for you. He literally said, he goes, you have a better chance of winning the lottery. He goes, or my son has a better chance of being in the NFL than you ever do making it as a wrestler. You're going to go there and you leave, she wasn't my wife, but he called her my wife. And your son behind, you're gonna lose out, lose them, and blah blah blah. And your son's gonna grow up without a father, all this stuff. And I'm like, man. And in my head, I'm like, so like, fuck you. But I was like, no, man, I'm gonna go make this happen. And again, I realized, even like my mom would be like, oh, you're gonna quit. It comes from like just do something safe. We want the best for you. So just be safe, and don't risk anything. And I really felt like the job, even though he had a good job and he made decent money. I'm sure that wasn't his dream. Everybody has a dream growing up.
Well, people only see within the parameters of what they believe is possible from their. People don't. You have a different level of what you believe is possible.
Sure, of course. I never had a doubt that I was going to make it.
Your ceiling is in a totally different realm than people that are.
I feel like though also it's because people that like deter you is because it makes them feel more validated for not pursuing their dreams. Of course,
there's it's a very layered issue.
Yeah, because like everyone has dreams and aspirations, and I feel like again, this company he worked at was the first job he had, and he worked his way up. He became a general manager, and this, that. Like I said, he made good money, but I'm sure that's not what he grew up wanting to do, and he never tried. And now he's like, oh crap! If this kid goes and pursues his dream and makes it, then it's like, what was my excuse? Why did I didn't do it? So it was great when I got signed. I'm
Yeah.
living in Florida, and I come back home for Christmas time, and I'm at the local Chico Sports Club, and I see him there. And I'm like, oh, hey, Jim, that's his name. And I go, what's up? He goes, oh, Brian, how are you doing? I go, good, good. I go, John's his son's name. And I go, how's John? And he goes, oh, he's doing well. I go, oh, is he in the NFL? And he went, what? I go, is he in the NFL? And he goes, oh, no. Like, what are you asking me that for? I go, oh, that's fine, because I'm signed by WWE, so I just thought you would like to know that. And then I walked off to my workout. That felt pretty good. nice little mic drop. So,
You know, I would say that, you know, people always try to figure out how they're going to get revenge or they're going to get back at somebody. It's like success is the best revenge.
oh, for sure.
Because
And that
that's like
wasn't,
the
obviously I didn't
most-
plan that, or, you know.
That's the best
but
right there.
it did feel mighty good. Like, that's
Did
pretty
you wait to
awesome.
see his response or just walk away?
No, even his response was kind of like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
like, I'm sure it probably wasn't like he thought about the conversation all the time, but it was good enough for me. Like, and I didn't even,
Yeah.
like, and I was like, oh, see you later. Like, I wasn't even like doing it maliciously or like, oh, F you, but I just felt good. Like, oh, you know, I'm
Yep.
living my deal. But yeah, no, that felt great. So the fact that you have a lot of people that, you know, that don't want to see you do well. And again, I feel like a lot of them too come from a place of them not doing what they would like to do or being successful in
Right.
their aspirations. So like, they don't want to feel like worse for themselves. So they'd rather you not
Yeah.
succeed. So that way they don't have that like, almost like that inner guilt. Like, oh man.
I think
what
we
if?
both experienced this. There's multiple reasons, but I think the two main reasons are what you're saying. I think there's the envy and the deflection. Obviously, people they want to feel validated in their own presence and their own whatever. But I also think that another huge reason is because people genuinely your ceiling of what you believe that you're capable of doing, it's in a whole different realm than what most people could even consider to be possible. I mean, what you've accomplished in and out of the ring in your life and in general is not even, I mean, it's not really normal, you know? People don't imagine that even being.
Sure.
It's like a superhero, superpower type of world that people can't even wrap their head around. So I think those are probably like the two main things.
I mean, even like my son's mom, she was a phenomenal singer, like very, very good. And she never really did anything with it. And I remember
Yeah.
even when people or even myself would bring that up, like, oh, why don't you pursue this or pursue that? And like, her attitude was always like, like that's not gonna happen. I
Yeah.
go, but of course, that attitude, that mindset's not gonna happen, you know. I mean, you didn't do it. No one's just gonna knock on your door and offer you a record deal. But but like, yeah, it doesn't mean that you would have made it, but you're absolutely not gonna make it not doing anything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to agree with what you're saying, when people have like well, that's probably not gonna happen. Like, so I'm just not gonna try. Like, well, of course not. So
Yeah.
like I said, I never had a doubt because people are like, oh, you know, what are you gonna do if you're not being a wrestler? And I go, I'm gonna be a wrestler. Like, there was no.
Yeah.
Even when I went to school, like for kinesiology, and I thought about how cool it'd be to be a physical therapist.
Yeah.
Until I realized the vast majority of people's clientele was like senior citizens. So it was very slow during my intern hours. But even then, I was
Yeah.
like, I wanted to be a physical therapist so I could try to be an athletic trainer for WWE if I couldn't be a wrestler. Like, it was
Yeah.
still like wrestling related.
Which would be pretty cool.
But even then, I still like. My counselor actually encouraged me to drop out too because I kept talking about wrestler, and she was like, "She's like, man, you always talk about this wrestling stuff." And I go, "Yeah, that's what I really want to do." And she just went, "Well, you can always go back to school. It's like you can only be young, go at it
that's
for wrestling once."
awesome.
And I was like,
So she encouraged you.
I go, "You encouraged me to drop out?" She goes, "I can't say that, but I'm just saying you can always go back to school."
That's
and I was like,
awesome.
"It's my last semester." I was like, "For sure." So, and I mean, it's true because like, and I was just going to school. And it was
Yeah.
fun. It was the first time I went to school and I actually enjoyed it because it was something that I was really interested in. But I was just doing it because I felt like that's what you're supposed to do. It's not what I
Yeah.
wanted to do, right? Everybody else is doing it, so I guess I'll do it too. Like,
Yeah.
And then, when she said that, I was like, all right, forget it. I'm just gonna try to make
Yeah.
it happen because that's what I want to do, and that's what I feel like no doubt I'm gonna do. So
Yeah.
why waste more time or money here?
Yeah.
So.
The interesting thing about the physical therapy path is that you maybe didn't become one, but you sure spent a lot of time with them, didn't you?
Oh, for sure.
The thing is that you're in this place right now in your career where you have been through so many different injuries, you've had so many different comebacks. I want to know, because I mean, there have been so many with you, you're kind of known for it. Take me back to early on, like your very first setback where you got hurt and you had that will to come back.
Geez, well, and
That's crazy. You can't even remember.
No, I can think of like okay, well, the first
There's
one.
been a lot.
The very first one, but so there's a difference too between being. I guess these were injuries though too. Like we're almost always hurt. Always different between being hurt and being injured. Being hurt, like you just put some tape on it, you can work through it, and whatever else. Like you're never 100%.
For you, there's a difference.
Yeah. But being injured is like okay, where I'm out.
Yeah.
And do you remember like so the very first like
That's what I'm
injury
talking about. Injured.
it was just a partial tear, but a partial tore my right quad. In a match, and I was like, no. And actually, it didn't take. I mean, I was still pretty young, so I think I came back and I wrestled like 5 or 6 weeks later. But so it wasn't like it was really that long. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of different like injuries in that regard, but it just kind of comes with the territory. But I don't know. I've always, as disciplined as I am with like working out and everything else, like whenever you get hurt, which is depressing and like a little bit of a setback, then immediately you're like, all right, forget this, I'm gonna try to come back better. And that's what even led to me doing like any bodybuilding shows was at a time where I got hurt my shoulder, and then it was also just a really depressing down and out time, and financially and everything. Like it was probably the worst moment of my life. And I remember when things started to turn around and I started getting back in better shape, I was like, you know what, I'm finally gonna do a bodybuilding show to like just to encourage myself, and then not only to finally check that off the list, but also. And
when was this? Your first?
2012.
Okay.
But then also just kind of feel the desire, like, okay, to come back better. So that's why I even said, like, oh, maybe if I do it after coming back from these injuries and setbacks from
How'd
these
that
surgeries.
go? How was your first?
So I won a novice, which also, I tell people don't ever do novice, it's such a waste of time.
That's
I won a novice, and then I did, I know there's no second place, but I was stoked to see, like, via the scorecards, that I was in second place of the overall, because I won my class too.
That does matter.
I know. I mean, you'll get a trophy for it, right? But it was funny.
I know,
even then,
it kind of sucks that you.
Even then, right then, like shortly, like I think the next year, the guy who got third behind me got his pro card. I was like, oh, I beat freaking pro. I was like, oh dang. And then the following year, I did the same show and I won. I won the overall then. And you asked me my favorite bodybuilder earlier.
Yeah.
Kai Green was the guest poser and trophy presenter.
Okay.
So which I didn't realize, and that was dope. So then he's on stage presenting me. It was in Fresno. So then Flex Wheeler was there as well. So I have a picture of Flex Wheeler and Kai Green holding it. And then even cooler, 8 years later, I'm sponsored on the same team doing videos with Kai Green.
That's cool.
For Redcon. So that was great. So the full circle there. I'm like, man, that's awesome.
That is a full circle. Well, you had a series of setbacks and comebacks, and I think, it's the person that you've created, because you've talked about this before, but you've talked about how a lot of people they get injured, they fall, and they go into a really dark place. And you have been known for this, but you've managed to always find the light that keeps you going, and your recovery in every single time you've been set back has been so rapid. And I think that's what fans are really impressed by with you.
Well, and I feel like because a lot of stuff, I mean, especially people say in bodybuilding, right, that how much more of a struggle it is mentally than physically.
Yeah.
And you build up that endurance, that fortitude. But I feel like that goes with like everything, especially in any sort of physical or sport activity, because like injuries are gonna come. Yeah. And I feel like that's where it does like test you, like, oh, not just your ability physically to come back, but mentally to be able to push through it, and sort of like, because it can be daunting and put a lot of stress on you, and questions and doubts, and they just downward spiral. So I'm not saying that I've handled it perfect every time. I've definitely had my moments like, oh my gosh, what if this, that, whatever. But I mean, ultimately it makes you stronger, and it gives you the determination, like I said, to come back better. Yeah. And it really, I feel like every time you do it, it's almost like breaking a bone when it heals stronger. I feel like every time you do it, I feel like mentally it makes you stronger and stronger and stronger for the next time.
Ooh, that's good.
So and this past time, I mean, this is the longest I've ever been injured.
Yeah.
And I ended up having 3 knee surgeries, major knee surgeries, within the span of from April to November. And I actually, besides maybe for a day when I found out that I had to have this one revised, which I kind of knew anyways.
So revised or replaced?
So I had it replaced, but then I had to get it done again because there was an error in it. So I should have been cleared by November.
That's crazy.
And then instead of coming back in October, November, I had to have another knee surgery. So I found that out, but I kind of expected it because I knew something was wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
I was a little bummed for like a day, but outside of that, I actually almost was never really down at all, which is immaculate. Like to be
that is really impressive.
And like I said, when I went right to the gym a few days later, I mean after every surgery I did, and I feel like that kept my spirits up and it kept me positive and just tried to just truck through and like okay, what's the silver lining? What's it going to be? And then there was some stuff that helped out with my relationship with my wife. Obviously, I have to be home with the kids more. I haven't made my return yet. I just got cleared fully from everyone to be able to come back. So then, there's the hopes of that too, of like, okay, this is a perfect way to press restart and start anew and come back and re-debut in a good way, in a new way, bigger way, whatever, and make the best of a bad situation. So
that I have a couple questions for you, but one is, up to this point, has there ever been a setback or an injury where you were like, I don't know if I'm coming back?
I felt like actually the most down when the injury with my shoulder that led me eventually to do my first bodybuilding show. I remember that time period for sure, because it was it just lingered for so long. I remember I couldn't work out, like everything upper body wise hurt forever. I mean, like not just hurt where you could push through, like I couldn't do anything. And then you just mix in like with how broke I was, and financially I was in such debt. I still had all the debt. I was living with my ex and her at her dad's house. Like there were just so much things that was not fun to brag about. So like it was just a low of a low all regard. I'm like couldn't afford any food to eat, so it was so much smaller. So now I'm sure you know how it is too. Like then you look at yourself and with like, oh my gosh, like you feel like such a shell of your former self, and like it was a downward spiral of a lot of stuff. So that was like definitely the lowest and like depressed time I was. And so that was because it lingered for so long too. It made me think like, is this never going to change? Like, so then that's what fueled my desire when it finally started getting some progress. Like, oh my gosh, here's a great opportunity to like come back from it. Yeah.
Well, you've experienced the highest highs and you've experienced some serious lows. So these extremes are not the type of extremes that normal people, most people live in like the status quo, like in that comfort zone, right? But it's very few people even that live in this place where you're like in the highest of highs, lowest of lows. I've talked to like some performance athletes, like American Gladiators remind me a lot of kind of what you do, right? Because there's the athletic component, there's a performance component, and then there's the personal identity component, right? And for you, this is your identity. It requires you to put your body through a lot over a long period of time, and now you're here. So in this past injury, here you are, and from what I hear and from what everyone is telling me, it sounds like you're coming back stronger than ever.
I mean, I feel that way. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you even look better than ever. So, and I've never, like I said, been out this long, so there is like an irreplaceable like excitement to come back, and a lot of like what ifs, but in a good way. So it definitely has like, it's one thing too, like a good thing about being injured as well is like it can help restart that fire. You know what I mean? Like not like I get bored of it and I don't love what I do and I have that I have the same passion to wrestle now as I did when I first started. But once it's taken away for a while, like it definitely gives you that newfound excitement. Like oh my gosh, I get to go wrestle again. I can't wait. Like I still have this new entrance music that I've listened to so many times that I can't wait to debut because it's so awesome. And I just sit there in my car and I play it so many times where it almost gets me emotional because of the intense feeling that comes where I'm just like envisioning myself and coming back to the curtain and hearing that music over the loudspeakers and like the crowd reaction and maybe I'm overzealous thinking about this, but like it just starts to fill me up and get me so excited. Where it's not like not even a happy or sad thing. It's like the excitement almost brings like tears in my eyes. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
this has been your identity your whole life.
For sure, absolutely has been, and sometimes in a bad way. It's definitely. I mentioned before how bodybuilding is such a selfish lifestyle. And wrestling, I mean, especially when I'm full-time wrestling, I mean, I'm almost never home sometimes. So it does take up a lot of stuff, and it's so that can be damaging to your home life or even to your personal life in that regard too. But it's all I ever wanted to do. I knew what I was signing up for. I mean, as did my wife. But yeah, I mean, I do think about that, which sounds maybe kind of bad too, but like if I didn't have wrestling, sometimes you wonder like, oh, what would I do? What would I, I don't know.
You had it was a really sweet moment. You had been out and you were in the ring, and I think that's when you proposed to your wife.
So, the Impact one. Funny enough, I actually proposed to my wife like 4 times, I think.
4 times?
Something.
Did she say yes the first 3? Did she say no the first 3?
No, she said yes every time. So there's some back and forth. So I had actually proposed to her, and
4 times a charm.
I proposed to her. She said yes, but it was like under wraps. Like we didn't announce it. Everything it was like secretive. And then before we ever announced it or even planned all that stuff, you know, sometime afterwards, she got pregnant, and we actually were setting up to move to Vegas then.
Oh wow, okay.
And then and I was doing a tour in Japan, and then instead that's when we moved over here to the Paseos instead from Studio City, and we stayed here in California to be closer to her family to help out with the kid. And then we so we never announced that. So then, you know, we have the child, this, that, whatever. Technically, we're still engaged, but you know, it's just been so long now. So then I remember I went and there's something happened to her ring. I went and had it fixed and cleaned up, and I was just going to surprise her with it. And I go, you know what? I should just re-propose to her. I go, because nobody even knew that we were engaged.
Yeah.
And so then at a different show, like here locally, just randomly, I was like, oh hey, and I grabbed the mic because she's the ring announcer too for that show, and I go, hey, actually, and I start cutting a promo about the match real quick. I go, but side note real quick, I go, you know, a lot of people thought, you know, that Melissa and I were married, or because we just have a kid. I go, we're not, and this, whatever my little speech was, and I proposed to her again, and everyone popped huge, and that way, because nobody knew. So that was the second time. And then the company we worked for at the time.
So we still have 2 more times.
So I guess technically there's only one more time. I feel like there's something else, but I guess that was it. So then TNA wanted to do a wedding angle anyways with us, because we weren't married, but we were about to get married.
Now you're a storyline.
Right? Yeah, so then they just used it, like, oh, hey, can you propose again on our
Oh my
TV?
gosh.
So then I proposed to her, and then like, yeah, it was it was a few months difference though, but from our actual wedding to our TV wedding too, there's like a few months later where we ended up getting married on there too as well. So like,
That is so crazy.
yeah, it was funny. I'm like, oh man, I'm so sick and tired of proposing to you. Like,
Well, it's like your whole life is a performance.
Sure.
Your personal life, your on-stage life. I mean, but you know, the thing that's so crazy, and this is something that I've picked up on with you, is even though you do a lot of performing, and you know, people say wrestling isn't real. I mean, it's like a movie line, storylines. You come across as very real, very very authentic, and you have a very organic kind of aura about you. Do you think that's something that has helped you succeed too? Because I think you know, a lot of it feels fake, but when you have a real true pro, I think that there's a lot of that is real and it's from your heart, you know?
Oh, for sure. And I think that happens more when you are, you know, just passionate and believe about it. Because obviously if you believe in yourself, then that's going to translate. Whereas if you don't, then it's not going to be. So, no, and I do appreciate that. I think that's a high compliment that you even say that.
It's true.
You know, and even, I don't know, I just popped in my head when you just said that as well. I was just talking to my mom about possibly, you know, performing in Sacramento when we're up there, because that's near Chico. And she was just talking about it. And it's not like my mom does not like wrestling, but she likes watching me wrestle. And she was even supportive when I ran my own promotion and stuff. Second time I've done that, trying to move up on this thing.
You're too big.
But she was talking to, she works at a bank, I think one of her clients or whatever, and she was bringing up, you know, wrestling somehow, or maybe they're a fan. I guess it doesn't matter. But anyways, she was just retelling me the story about what they're talking about, and she was saying this, that, and he goes, oh, but you know, I do watch my, you know, son when they're in town, I do like that. And he goes, oh, and he's, you know, I don't love wrestling. He goes, oh, but my son is like, I mean, he's good at it. He's really good. Like when I go there and I watch it, you know, it's a fun environment being there live, but like, I can tell who's better or not. And he goes, my son's really, really good. And my mom's really talked about it, but just to hear her say that, and she said it very nonchalantly, just as she's telling the story, I don't think she realized like how much like that meant to me, and is paying that a compliment too. Because like, oh wow, that's so nice to hear. So I remember her mom talk about that, and she was so like the conviction in her voice when she said it too. Was like, oh no, like he's not just because he's my son, he's good. Like I watch everybody else, like, oh damn, he's really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
like you didn't get
awesome.
the compliment that was super direct to your face, but that was enough of a compliment to make you feel like, wow.
Oh, for sure. So like, yeah, when people do say that, I mean, and even that's weird too. In the world of wrestling, you asked about winning titles earlier, you know, and like how you feel. It is weird too, because if you don't become like, you know, a top guy or a big star or whatever else, it's funny because your peers will know the difference too.
Yeah.
So like, perception is reality to the fans. So if you're never like the number one guy, they think, you're not that great then. You know, you still always have your fans, someone who loves you. But they're like, you're not that great. Whereas like certain people you work with, and you're like, they will know how good you are. And it's because technically, if they don't decide to give you the ball, it's kind of not your fault. Nothing you can really do about it. But like other people that have worked with you, and they're like, oh no, this guy's freaking phenomenal. So
you know, I feel like this is so fascinating to me because I feel like wrestling is almost this big, huge social experiment. If you think about it, because if you think about social hierarchies, right, and how the way that people believe in themselves and what they can do translates into that aura and what everyone else perceives them. It's like in wrestling, if you are chosen to be the champion, and like you said, the peers see you that way, you see yourself that way, it changes everything about you. Changes your attitude, changes your aura, your presence. You feel like you're the alpha in the room,
Sure.
right? And part of that is that you were selected to be that.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it so fascinating that changes it's like the ripple effect to that. And then if you're chosen to be the one that is not the best, you're like the loser, like some of that socially sits with you and then everybody sees you that way. So it's crazy, but it feels to me like a big giant social experiment, you know?
Well, it's
Like
because
crazy.
I mean, it is, and like it does. It's like you said too, like because you're like, oh, you're chosen to, or you're not, and then to other people, like if they work with you, they realize like how good you are, or how good in wrestling, how good you can make everyone else look, which is another key feature. And sometimes that's almost a detriment because like if you're really great and you're really good at making everyone else look good, then they almost want you for that role instead of being like the top guy is oh. You could be just the top guy, but you're so good at making everyone else look great. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's almost like when I was a kid and I was, out of all my brothers, I cleaned the bathroom the best. So unfortunately, I always had to clean the bathroom. So like, I was like, wait a minute, that's some bull crap. If I did a shittier job, I wouldn't have to. Like,
You're like, oh, all of a sudden I suck at cleaning bathrooms. I just can't clean this toilet. I'm just not good at it. I don't know.
but like, yeah, like there'll be some of the smart fans that like will like
Yeah.
recognize my talent and for like stuff you wouldn't notice unless you're like a really diehard fan. But like it coincides with a lot of people that I work with that are usually like to put in perspective too. Like when anyone has to work with them, they're usually excited and want to work with them. It's like, oh, I know Cage's have a killer match. He can put 110%. He's gonna make me look good. He's gonna do this. He can do that. Like, oh, awesome. And it just sucks that doesn't always translate, to the office the same as it does to the boys. So that's
Yeah.
even like in WWE back in the day with WWF.
Yeah.
So they had the world title, like the Hulk Hogan had, and then he made the Intercontinental title. And originally, the reason why they did two titles, so the world title was for like the box office draw,
Yeah.
like the top star that's bringing in all the money. But then the Intercontinental title was made for the best worker.
Yeah.
So like not like well he's drawing like okay who's just phenomenal. So that
Yeah.
so like amongst the boys, the IC title is really the world champion. Like
Yeah.
that's the best wrestler, whereas the guy who has the world title is just the guy they're
Yeah.
putting to the top. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. How long have you been at this now?
professionally, like so if I count from my Canyon match that I mentioned earlier, that's like almost 21 years. Or technically 21 years.
Do you feel like where do you feel like you are in your journey right now?
I mean, you really worked out right. Like I feel some stuff in my shoulders, rotator cuffs. I've just had the knee surgeries, but I mean, I still feel great. And I don't see why I couldn't do this for another 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you look great right now.
I mean, somebody said too. I go. I mean, sad to say too. Just a lot of people don't necessarily, look the same as for being a wrestler as they used to. And I go, even at my age, I feel like I still move better, look better, physically too than a lot of other people, half my age. So I don't feel like I'm slowing down. And I want to, just because I love it so much too, I almost kind of want to just wrestle till the wheels fall off. I don't know.
Well, it's a business, and you seem to still be in your prime, but I'm sure that you've seen them come and go. I mean, for being in it for 21 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people, coming in and out of the industry.
Sure. Well, and there's
Has
still
that
some
been
guys.
hard for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's obviously it's part of the nature, but there's still some guys that have been like, I mean, we have a guy right now that's in his early 60s that looks phenomenal, that still wrestles and so great. Like,
What about Billy Gunn?
That's
He's
what I'm
still
talking
at
about.
it.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
You're talking about Billy Gunn. Yeah.
I mean, even Sting, Dustin Rhodes too. He's in his late 50s and looks great, moves well.
Yeah.
So like, it's still possible, and like that's true. I want to be. I used to always joke like I wanted like Billy Gunn's my inspiration now too, as far as being able to still wrestle that
He
long,
looks
but also
amazing still.
looking that great.
Yeah.
But also I want to because Billy can stop. He doesn't need to do it. That's the difference too. There's guys who may keep wrestling because they have to, because they need to do it. They have no other way to make a living, and they don't have money to live off of. But like they're doing it not because he needs the money, but because he still loves it and wants to do it.
He loves it still.
Like that's it. Like as far as I can do it physically, I want to do it, not to like keep making money off it, but just because I love doing it. I want to keep doing it.
Yeah. But you've seen them come and go. Like, tell me about some of the tough situations you've had to deal with. Friends, maybe being at the end of their rope.
I mean, there's because of the age gap. There's a couple of friends who may have just stopped, or because they got hurt, or whatever the case.
Yeah.
But there's been like, like personal friends I've seen like go. Obviously, there's more so people that I've been fans of.
Yeah.
Where like even if I know them, or acquaintances with them. I've seen them go, and that's like, it's like a happy set because you're like, oh, bummed, but then also like everyone's got to retire at some point.
Yeah.
And especially if people are getting up there, it's like it's usually fun to be a part of the end of their journey too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's I think like what I want to talk to you about next, because like what is next for Brian? Like where are you at in your career right now? I mean, you said you have like 10 years left.
I mean, there's so much I haven't done. I actually feel like I've done, funny enough too, I feel even I've been there for like 6 years, and I feel like I've done the least in AEW compared to everywhere else I've been in throughout my whole career of wrestling.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a plethora I can still do there. And even if I do wrestle till the wheels fall off, I would actually, just from a lot of the ways that I structure matches and do stuff, I've had several people say that I should be a producer agent. To go forward, which I would be open to that. I've also always had
you were producing in second grade. I think you got
right.
this.
I know, right? I've also always had the little entrepreneurship dream of like having like this nice sweet little mecca like wrestling training facility and gym, and even like an attached little like fancy healthy restaurant. This like a one-stop shop that has everything. And I've even talked to a couple people doing it with me. That would be awesome. But then the main problem that be, especially in this day and age, is where to put it, because I feel like it'd do great, but then every kind of location that do great, there's already so much competition to have something similar to that, where it'd be like what would it be worth doing? So I don't know.
I know, but that's what we always think that, but generations continue.
Well, and that even in high school, I always think that I was like, I want to be wrestler too, so that way I can build enough namesake and value and credibility. Because there's that too, right? Because you say, in the gym which you went to, if you go, oh, it's Larry Will's gym, or you're like, oh, they know that. So like, there's that aspiration of I want to go there because of that situation. So I always wanted to build up my name enough for people. Oh, I want to go to Brian Cage's gym. I want to go to Brian Cage's school. I want to go to Brian, just because of my name value. So I thought that would be really fun and neat to have. And there's so many awesome, amazing facilities now. I guess the difference between mine would be I'd have everything there, but. I even said like I'd want to have like an MMA thing, the wrestling school, run wrestling shows there, have an amazing top-notch gym, except the like healthy eatery restaurant, like everything. But I do feel like it's so oversaturated, it'd be hard. But then if you go to a place where it's not saturated, does it have the population to fund it? That would want to come to it. So
Well, you've put some thought into this.
Oh no, it's been something I've always wanted to do. So like for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely put some thought into it. But you're involved in, you have some your health journey. You're in a place right now where you're looking at longevity. You're looking at your nutrition, your supplementation.
Oh, for sure.
And you made a post recently about nutrigenomics.
Yes, with the Activate and the collagen and everything else.
Tell me about that.
So, we have so much different, advanced knowledge of everything, and obviously the supplement industry in itself has grown tremendously with so many different aspects. But, you look at everyone nowadays, and we briefly talked about this on the phone too. I mentioned about how everyone in their later 30s, 40s, whatever, seems so much more closer to their prime still and in great shape and look, younger, fitter, stronger, everything.
Yeah.
So, I feel
What's
like
the secret?
Yeah, right. But I do feel like that's part of it. Everything evolves, but I feel like there's so much more readily available to produce all of that. And I've been, I don't think I even talked about it before, but not only have I was a therapy whore when it came to like being in that world too and wanting to be a therapist and knowing therapists all over the place and like trying to always take care of my body, since that's kind of how I make a living off of it. But in that same regard, all these different advancements we make to always kind of better yourself, not just for injuries, but for everything, whether it be, peptide stuff, or be regular supplementation, stem cells. So I've always been vastly interested in this. And then when I came across this product line and I talked to them about it and like how well it's worked. I said for my one friend who had a lot of health issues, like very serious health issues, and how well it turned him around. I'm like, oh, well, instantly, that's all the proof I need, at least to try it, right? And then see it for myself as well, because I don't want to promote stuff too that I don't feel like I've got anything from, or whatever you mean, just to say it. Even my very first stem cell situation, I always thought that was really neat, and I thought there's a lot of possibilities with that. It was back like in 2014, I first ever got any stem cells, but it was because my friend had, was basically nearing kidney failure.
Oh my gosh.
And he had kept getting multiple IVs in Mexico from stem cells, and then finally his levels on his kidneys started to improve more and more, and I was like, oh, whoa, that's like ridiculously impressive.
Wow.
So that's what, like, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but is it like hearsay? I don't know.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh wow, wait a minute, hold on, maybe there's something to this.
Seeing
So it's the same thing. So with when he talked to me in depth about all these different issues and stuff that he's going through and how well he's recovered from that, and give him credit for all this, like, okay, well, there's got to be something to it then. So I'm like, let's give it a go. And I've only been taking it now for about a month, a little maybe just under a month. And I go, it's perfect timing too with coming back from my knee injuries and how my knees feel and everything else. So I'm really hoping that helps level up and game change as well. So I've been posting about it, and I'll do more of an update probably not until like the end of March, because I know everybody wants the quick overnight fix, but realistically, unfortunately, it takes a good while to like really see if anything makes a rest. Everyone wants to take a pill once and be like, oh my god, I feel amazing.
I know, but you have to give it some time.
That's it too. People also will take something for 2 weeks and go, oh, it doesn't do anything. It's stop.
I know. Well, that's with anything, exercise, nutrition.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Like, whatever, it takes time. There's no secret.
When I told you about the guy that stopped me and said, oh, how long did it take you, in the gym? When people just ask me anywhere, like, oh, how long are you working out, or this, how long would it take me to look like you? Just like we were talking about supplements, it takes time and consistency always being the key. But I said, like, hey, how long would it take you to learn a martial art, to learn a foreign language, to learn a musical instrument, to do all these things? They all take time and commitment. Like, so what would be the difference when it comes to your body and any sort of physical changes? You know what I mean? It's got to take time. Nothing is overnight. I mean, and if that existed, that person would be a gazillionaire, because and gyms wouldn't exist. But
we were talking about this a little bit, but you have so many, you have a lot of fans, and you have a lot of people that do stop you, and they know everything about your life, they follow you, they know your storylines in the ring, and for a lot of people that's hard, but you handle it with grace, but it has to be difficult, to be out and about and then to get stopped, and then and the thing that we talked about is when people do stop you, that impression that you have on somebody can really make or break your reputation if it, So tell me about handling that pressure. How do you?
I mean, I usually handle all fans really well.
Yeah.
And they're usually very respectful and easygoing. And a lot of times too, like, doing ask them, like, hey, look, and, if I'm out with my family too or something, like, I don't want to bother you, just want to give you a pound, like, oh, I'm a big fan, whatever. And so it's usually pretty easygoing, and I'm always cool with it. And if they ask for a picture, I'm usually cool. One of the very rare times I think I've said no, and I remember even my older son was like, wow, I've never seen you say no. We were in, I think we were in the grocery store, and I had like most of my 2 younger ones, my wife, everyone was with me. And I feel like it's just because of, I had just ran into 2 other people earlier. We've been out and about. So like 2 other people had already stopped me and like kind of said like, oh, I don't want to like interview you, say I'm a big fan, and whatever. So they didn't try to ask for it. He's like, I don't want to ask for a picture or whatever. So I feel like, all right, 2 people already like were easy going about it. And I had to give them a picture. And then this guy, it wasn't just the fact that he asked for a picture. He just already came. I mean, I guess I could appreciate the fact that he's ready, but he already came up like with his camera and a selfie ready. Like I just assumed I was going to take a picture with them. You know what I mean? So, oh man, hey, let's take a picture real quick. And I was like, hey man, actually, I'm out with the family right now. I'd rather not. And he's like, oh, okay, we'll just tap you up. So it's cool. Like, and he was like, well, I've never really seen you know. And I thought I wasn't like a jerk and didn't like come across that way. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, it's just the way it came up. And since like 2 other people came up and they didn't get a picture and they were like cool about it, I just figured like, all right, yeah. Like I feel like I wouldn't have done that had they not done that, because it was almost like they were reminding me like, hey, I'm just Brian Button right now. Like, so I don't want to intrude. But also that if I'm just out and about and at the airport, hotel, gym, whatever, just traveling, I never care. Like
you're at the grocery store, you're Brian Button. You're in the cage, you're Brian Cage.
Yeah, so it's usually not a big deal. And I do appreciate people like, oh, I'm a big fan. Like it is nice. And like I said, it's not like it's ever anyone ever being overbearing or
Yeah.
or rude or anything like that. So it's
Yeah.
not a hard time. Usually my wife doesn't like it, especially if she'll notice that somebody noticed me where I'm just like,
Yeah.
kind of oblivious. She's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this guy's gonna come over and ask for an autograph. Ugh. And or even ask for her too, because sometimes that'll happen where if they notice me, because I'm usually a little bit louder, especially when I had a mohawk and sideburns.
Yeah.
Then she'll be like, oh great, now they're gonna ask me for a picture too. And she doesn't like to do that. She doesn't want to be talked to in public. If she's not scheduled to meet people, she doesn't want to meet people. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is interesting to me though, because I do feel like there's a little bit of social awareness there. I think it is odd to me that somebody would not just look at you like a human being sometimes.
Sure.
And
Which
that's
is funny.
really what that is. It's like not looking at you like you're a human being, you know?
Which is funny because there's plenty of times where I'll see someone I'm a fan of from
Yeah.
wherever, and same thing, I don't want to bother them because I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
Right? And I've been in a situation, and sometimes they're cool, and so when someone says, oh, I saw you, I didn't want to bother you, I'm like, oh man, it was totally fine, and then I go, oh well, I guess maybe they're just thinking like I think, that's cool, I see them, but I don't want to bother them. Sure they get that enough, or I don't
Yeah.
want to be that person too. So.
That's how I am, but I think it's more than just because I deal with it a little bit too. I just feel like if I saw somebody at the grocery store and I was like, oh man, it would be so cool to get a picture with that person. But you go, okay, but they're human, they're doing their thing, I don't want to intrude.
Sure.
It's funny that somebody would just walk right up to you in the gym and just push your barbell down and just be like, hey.
Yeah, no, that was ridiculous. And I just see cause it does make you feel good, right? Everyone wants to be recognized and noticed. Like I said, this was nice for people be like, oh hey, just want to say I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And it's just a very cordial, quick interaction. She's like, oh that's
Yeah.
nice, And so you're not. Yeah, I talked about Mexico a lot too, about some of those people being
Yeah.
a little much. What is funny about Mexico too is there's been so many times where somebody will take a photo with you, and then somebody else or multiple people want to take a photo with you, having no idea who you are.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say
Which
that's
doesn't
funny.
make because
That's-
I've seen somebody where someone's like, oh my
that's-
gosh, so and so's over the we lived in Sioux
That's
City.
the best compliment though,
Well-
because you look like you're somebody and they don't even
Well,
know.
yeah, but that's cool. But also, I'm like, I wouldn't. I guess just for me personally. So when we lived in City and we'd go to this Ralph's all the time, there'd be tons of different
Yeah.
celebrities that'd be there. But also even though they're a celebrity, if I'm not a fan of you, I don't really care. No, if I'm like,
Yeah.
oh that's neat. Someone's like, oh so and so's
Yeah.
oh that's cool. But I don't care. I'm not gonna go. Whether I know who you are or not, I'm not gonna go. Oh my god, I gotta go take a picture with them. So the fact that people would do that and then they have no idea.
Because you look impressive.
So
You look like there's something. You're like, I don't know what he does, but there's something going on over here.
I'll this story. So me and my friend Carlito, who's he was in WWE, we're outside this hotel in Mexico, and we're literally talking about this, and somebody's talking to one of the luchadors over there. Then they see us, like, oh hey, is it una
Yeah.
photo? I go, okay, cool. So he comes over and takes a photo with us. This car stops, driving my hotel, stops in the middle of the road, doesn't pull over, just stops in the
Yeah.
middle of the road. And this girl comes running out. And she's like, oh my gosh, can I take a photo with you too? Please, please, please. And I go, oh yeah, sure, whatever. So we take a photo with her, and she goes, what are you guys doing? I go, oh, we're waiting for a ride to go to the gym. He's like, oh what? He goes, no, I'll take you. And I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, is it too late? I go, no, I'll cancel the Uber. So we cancel the Uber. So we get in the car. She starts to take us to the gym, and she goes, oh, I'm not from here, so I don't know where it is. So you have to tell me where to go. So so I pull up the gym, get the GPS going.
Oh my gosh.
And she goes, oh man, that's cool, you guys were out there. So what do you guys do? And I go, wait, what? You don't know who we are? And he goes, no, I don't know, I just saw them take a picture with you. And I go, and so Carlito goes, so wait, you just stopped in a city that you're not from and picked up two strange men that you have no idea who they are. And he goes, maybe never do that again. I was like, yeah, that's a little wild that you think, oh, hey, what's up? You guys want a free ride? Who are you? What do you do?
I don't know. I think that's an awesome compliment.
I mean, it's a cool compliment,
Because-
but I thought that's a little. People thought we were stupid for getting in the car.
Think about let's say pro wrestler, for example, who is a big time pro wrestler. I'm sure you probably have a name in your mind that you're thinking about right now, and they're aged out of their career, and not only do people not recognize them, but they don't look impressive anymore.
Sure.
So no one's stopping them for any reason. But if maybe people aren't in the wrestling world and they see you and they think they're impressive, I don't know what he does, but he does something.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, I've done that plenty of times
you
on
know.
planes. We're like, hey, are you famous or something? I don't know. To some people.
See? Yeah.
And that's the truth. I've also been a very humble person in that regard. I'm like, I don't act
Yeah.
like I'm anybody better than or special in that regard. But yeah, no, it is a compliment where people
Yeah.
Like, are they drawn to you? Like, hey, you look like you stand out, like you do something. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Who
You
are
have a very strong resemblance to Wolverine.
I do.
So
which
what's
is-
the, at what point did you make that a part of your identity? Because Wolverine.
So, I mean, I've always been a huge fan of Wolverine, and I didn't try to do anything Wolverine-esque, like in
It
my.
just happened.
So, well, I hated shaving, so I grew these huge sideburns just so I didn't have to shave, and then there was an old wrestler named Lash LaRue that had these cool little sideburns at this point, and my friends were like, oh, you should shave like that one time, and so I did.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of became my my shtick, and it looked like a little Wolverine-esque.
Yeah, yeah.
So people would always call me that, and then one time I was actually a fan. You know, it's like people would call me like Wolverine or mention a Hugh Jackman line
Yeah.
if I was like a bad guy, and I'd flex with, oh, whatever, you know, Hugh Jackman wishes he was his buff. And the fan was like, oh, it's because you're the Swolverine. I went, oh, man.
Wolverine.
I'll write that down. And got that trademark patent. That's my name. And so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let me add that into it. So I was such a fan of Wolverine anyways, and started like, even like my name, for like moves I do,
Yeah.
Drill Claw, Weapon Axe, Tornado Claw, those are all Wolverine references for different fighting games and stuff like that. So like, it's all connected in that regard.
Okay.
But yeah, so like besides the sideburns, which I wasn't trying to do Wolverine, but just took that,
Yeah.
I was doing anything. And then when I changed my look and grew out the beard and grew out my hair, I was like, man, especially from like Logan and the new Wolverine,
Yeah.
they're like, man, you look more like Wolverine now. I was like, oh, is that what you're going for? I go, actually, funny enough, no,
You just do your
yeah,
thing.
I was like, I wasn't trying to at all, but the fact that everybody keeps on thinking I do, I'm like, that's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome compliment to me.
Yeah. You have left a legacy of quite a few moves. You are the move guy.
I'm the multi-move paragon.
Yes. And okay, so you have a lot of moves. Has there ever been anybody who has replicated your moves and done it as good or better than you?
So, well, going back to my my idol Chris Kanyon, that's
Yeah.
my style of wrestling too is very inspired by him, and his moniker was the innovator of offense. It's kind of a
Okay.
play on his situation, and I do actually a lot of his moves too, or you know different variations of his moves. He invented a lot of stuff, and fortunately, he took his own life several years ago, and it's unfortunate. If he was still around today, I feel like he would be like he was definitely ahead of his time, and it
Yeah.
was definitely underappreciated. I feel like he would be way more appreciated and successful in this day of era. And it also, it's like almost like when like to go back to like rock bands, like when a musician like dies too young, and then all of a sudden like then they start to blow up, and their songs are more popular after they're gone.
Yeah.
Same thing where I feel like he was appreciated more after the fact, and we did this amazing Dark Side of the Ring episode too about him, where so many people were singing his praises so much, and like how influential he was in so many different people and so many different styles. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, it sucks that like all this is coming out so long after he was gone, when like instead of when he was here. That being said, anyone, so I've seen people do my moves plenty of times, and no one's ever done it as good as me. And the difference is too, even if somebody does said move, and even if it's not my move, say it's just a move I'm gonna do, because every move
Yeah.
I do isn't my move, but my response is always like, yeah, well, they're not me doing the move, which
Yeah.
is also a big difference too. So
That's I think the champion's way of looking at anything. You know, you don't have a fear of like somebody taking your place or somebody coming in, because you know that it's you doing it. Nobody's going to be able to do it better than you.
yeah, for sure. I was like,
You have the trademark on it. You
sure. I
have
was like, they're not gonna do the move as good as me, and they're not gonna look as good as me doing the move. So
There you
like,
go.
I was like, nah, it's not the same.
Yeah. And the blend for you, between bodybuilding and being able to perform, we talked about this, but that's been an awesome journey for you. And just having trained with you, you do train a lot like a bodybuilder.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, because I do love bodybuilding too, both the sport and the lifestyle a lot.
Yeah.
And I do blend it. And I think too, a big reason as well is I said like how much smaller I was, and I grew in to my body, and I was already wrestling and wrestled the whole time throughout, which I feel like is
Yeah.
what kept more of my athleticism and my ability to do stuff. Whereas if I just started out this big or this muscular, maybe it wouldn't have translated
Yeah.
as well. But I do still do different dynamic stuff. But I mean, when I'm 100% too, I could be wrestling 4 times a week or so.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like I'm not wrestling. So I feel like it
Yeah.
just goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the comeback. Because here we are, you're making your big comeback, okay? Before I ask you this question, how many like, how many comebacks would you say you've made? Or have you lost count?
No, because I mean, there's, as far as like a serious delay, I mean, really, there's only been like one. Like the surgery for my torn biceps has been the only time that's like really kept me out for a sustained
That's
amount
actually
of period.
pretty good. I didn't. Okay.
Sustained. Because like, I've been hurt plenty of times where like maybe about for a few weeks here or there.
But this is like, yeah, okay, I get
I've
it.
never been like out. Well, and usually I probably should be out, but you just kind of work through it or lie and be like you're better than you are and work around it and try to, just push through. We're like, oh man, and then it lingers around when you're always dealing with it. Let's say like you're never 100%. But as far as like being on the couch, I'm out. I can't do anything for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then there's been a couple of like smaller ones, but I mean, really, the bicep was the longest before this, and then this was just.
Okay, I have to know, because making your comeback, is there anything that scares you in the ring?
Oh, for sure. You make, like, even yesterday.
I would be so terrified.
I had the match get cleared yesterday, and one of the things he wanted me to do was get up to just the second rope and jump off to hit the guy, and he moves, and I just have to land on my feet. And I was like, which is like nothing, right? But in my head I go, can I do that? Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't just,
I would be scared.
because it's not like that
That's
crazy, but like you don't know.
It's not that crazy?
No.
Oh,
no,
yeah, swinging off a rope.
Well, normally you're like, oh, no big deal. But then you're just like, oh, well, I haven't done that forever.
Yeah.
And I have like,
The new level of fear now.
Post-surgery knees. I'm like, wait, can I? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
And like, yeah, I did it. And it was totally fine. You're like, oh, okay. Because like, the confidence is there because you don't know. You assume you can, but you're like, but can I? Like, I'm not going to say that I can't, but also, I guess I won't know until I just do it in the heat of the moment. So.
Well, you have a childlike risk-taking mentality still, because that is really what builds fear in most people. I know for me in gymnastics, and for people that do that type of like performance-based sport, you start off fearless, and then as you get hurt and as things happen, that's where the fear starts setting in. It's the flashbacks. It's
sure. Like, I mean, I saw like, no, unfortunately, you have more of a fearless aspect. I just talked about this where, just like the other week, I took the wrong, instead of going down the escalator, I was going up this like walkway in this hotel. I'm like, oh shoot, we're supposed to go down there. So I jumped up, like I put on like the moving walkway handrail.
Yeah.
I jumped on it and then went to spin around to like jump off it. And right as I was spinning around, I went, whoa, and I got scared and went back. I was like, what happened? I go, I just had a crazy what if thought, like, oh, what if I spin around now and I'd land and I tweak my knee weird and I tear it, like all this thought happened like in a split second.
That's how it happens.
Where I'm like, whoa, and I just freaked out. I go, no, I don't want to chance it. I don't want to, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
When, I mean, realistically, probably nothing would have happened. But as soon as that like what if thought came ahead, it just froze you. Like, whoa, I don't want to do it. And even with weight training, if you're pushing really hard or heavy, there'll be a rep where like you're about to go, then Ryan's about to go, where I normally would just push through it. You try to go, wait, what if, this is too much or this happens? Like I said, it's like a fraction of time, but all of a sudden you have all these things run through your mind where you're like, maybe I'll stop right here. Maybe it's just what you never would think about before, but then after, you start to have different injuries. You're like, maybe I don't need that little extra one. Maybe I can stop right here. I'm all right.
Yeah. How much do you feel like they cater to you and they know that you have an injury? And
it is. I don't want to say it's easy, but it is very possible to work around stuff for sure. I mean, more so too, like so. For instance, for me,
they know what's wrong with you. They coordinate a whole.
Well, and I mean, it's not even so much like I feel like it's worrisome about like what can be done to me. At least from my perspective, I always think more about like what's worrisome of what I can do.
Yeah.
So like move-wise, taking stuff usually isn't as much of a concern. It's more of the lack of confidence. Like, oh, can I still do that?
Yeah.
Am I able? Can I? I don't know. Like, and it's not even necessarily a risk of like getting hurt. It's just more of like, can I still do it? Like that. I feel like that's where the more the doubt is, and you kind of build your back confidence. So like, I would just be like, maybe I don't want to do that move. Maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I don't want to do that. It's very rarely do I not want to take something unless there's a certain specific thing. It's usually not too much that ever like comes through like, oh, can I take that? Can I not take that? But again too, when you do have like a doubt, I've had it a couple of times where I've had a little bit of like, and then in my head I'm like, don't be a pansy, just do it. And there's a couple of times where, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's worked out kind of wrong. I'm like, maybe I should have listened to my gut about that one. Maybe I wasn't ready to take that. So.
So tearing your quad, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's not fun.
That's a big injury. Yeah. And that was, so what happened was you tore that, and then after that you a knee injury resurfaced, right?
So this knee
Put me through
has
that.
been been rough and bothered me on and off for several years. But it was really October of 23 that I hurt it pretty bad, and I felt. I just assumed I just tore cartilage out the back of my kneecap, but it was really weird. I saw, heard, and felt my kneecap like shift and like pop and like tear, and I was like, oh my god, like what just happened? And I could walk around fine afterwards, but like something just fell off, and then it swelled. Then it was like crazy bad, and then it went away, like relatively fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. But then like, I jump or do something kind of weird, and then it flared up. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So from like October through February, that happened several times, and I'm like,
Oh my
all right,
gosh.
something's going. Like now, I'm like, all right, I got to get this surgery because I don't like not having the confidence in my knee now. Like it can be totally fine and then not fine. Like I remember, I red-eyed in, and I was trying to get a couple hours sleep in the morning before I went to the gym, and I couldn't close the freaking curtain. The curtain kept coming open in the hotel. We get the little sunlight in.
Yeah.
So I get up and I take the hanger out of the closet to like clip this part closed, and I have to step up on the like AC box in the hotel to reach up the top of this thing to get it. So I snip it on there, and I go just to step down off the AC box, and I hesitate. I'm like, oh, can I? Like I just kind of feel like my knee. Like, oh, what if I drop? I feel like if I dropped on it, now my knee's not gonna like it. So I remember jumping off of the AC thing to the bed, like to not land on it. And I thought it was funny, but like that's the kind of stuff I'm like, dude, this can't keep happening.
No.
And
I can relate to that.
so it kept happening more and more. And like, dude, I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to get through summer because we had a big show at the end of summer.
Yeah.
Let me push through summer, and then I'll just go get the surgery. But then when I tore my quad out of nowhere, I was like, well, I'm already out for 8 months or whatever, so might as well be proactive and get this done. So that way, when I return, I don't have to be like, oh, my knee still sucks. I need that surgery still too.
Yeah.
And then joke was on me to save time. I took more time because then I had to get the surgery done afterwards anyways. So
Yeah. Are there any moves that you're?
So I do. I mentioned before, like I'm surprisingly do a lot of different, real jumpy, athletic, aerial kind of situations. I'm definitely going to be dialing back on those for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to do them. Everyone knows I can do them.
You've proven yourself.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean I won't do them again. But I obviously,
Yeah.
I definitely don't need to come back doing those right away. I want to build some confidence, and then also I would save it for like a more important moment or a bigger match or whatever the case may be. And I'm sure maybe there's something that I don't ever do again. I don't know. It is an opportunity, like I said, to start anew, and I could change the way I wrestle a little bit and get away with it too from how I look.
Yeah.
And maybe I adapt that way, and maybe it gets over more. Maybe it's better. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah. Man, you've done it all. You have, you've created an insane physique that is competition worthy, right? You've mastered the art of pro wrestling. You've been at it for 21 years now. You're seemingly still in your peak. I mean, it seems like you are going to go for ever and ever. And you're coming here, finishing up, continuing. I was going to say, I was going to say we're on the end, what's next, but I don't feel that way about you. I don't know, like after.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing, is like, that's not even where I was going with this. I was thinking there's no way. Here we have Brian, he's been at this for so long. He's mastered so much. I mean, there has to be this like what next conversation, but I just don't feel like I just don't feel like that's the conversation. It's kind of crazy.
There's always stuff that could be like interested, or like, oh, maybe I could do that, or maybe I could do this, and like in addition to wrestling, but like not only.
This is
so I feel like there's still plenty in the tank. Like my desire and passion, like I said, isn't anything less either. So like I'm nowhere near wanting to stop, and I feel like again there's so much not only left for me to do, but so much I still really want to do. So like
a lot of it that's mental. Like hearing your passion, seeing you train, and then hearing how you still feel about it all. I think that's what truly drives a person and continues moving someone forward in whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're physically able, you're physically capable, then it's like the sky is literally the limit.
Oh, for sure. I feel like that almost.
The sky or the knee is literally the limit.
I think of that too. Like not only like think about like not what would I do if I didn't have wrestling. Man, I guess that's more of a sad day and like what if like whenever or if ever I like lost the desire, love, or passion to do what I do. Like I mean that's time to hang it up, but also that almost be like a sad day to like I don't know. I just don't feel like how that would be possible wherever I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
It's going to be a part of you no matter what.
Sure. But I mean, obviously, I do feel like at one point, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done, which is crazy to fathom just because I don't know how to fathom that.
Yeah. No, it's such a part of you. It's so your identity. I can't imagine.
Like, we always talk about, buying a plot of land in the middle of nowhere and like having this, that, whenever I'm like retired, don't have to go anywhere. But then I'm always like, oh man, when would I do that? I don't know. And I don't like having like nothing to do. Like, as peaceful as that sounds, like I like when people go, I mentioned earlier, like, oh, how do you stay in shape on the road and work out and this, I go, the more go and all replace my schedule is, the more meticulous and structured schedule has to be, and actually I thrive on that. When I don't have that, that's when I'm more lollygag, I'm more likely to slack, I'm more likely to cheat, I'm like that, like because there's no like structure and like you have to be here, do this.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if I'm like overwhelmed for a while to like have a couple days off to do nothing, but more than that, like I don't know what to do with myself. Like I love going on cruises, but after a few days, I'm like, all right.
Oh, I'm not a cruise person.
I love cruises, mainly because of the food, but like after a few days, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back to normality. Like my wife wanted to take this crazy special cruise like that she saw through my daughter's school, but it was like 3 weeks or something like that. And I go, absolutely not. I'm
wow, that's a lot.
I go, no. I was like, no way.
Maybe there's like a lot of excursions or something. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there is stuff. I was like, there's no way I want to. No, I was like, I would go crazy. It doesn't matter how like fun or all that stuff we could do. Like that's so long to like not be in my routine. I feel like I'd lose it. Like I can't do it.
I went on one cruise and it was. I brought all these really cute clothes and I was like, we're gonna go on vacation and everything. And it was day 2 and I go out into the common areas and everybody's walking around in sweats and just grungy clothes, just eating. And everybody just gave up, everyone's just eating and that's all there is to do. And I was like, I can't do this, I just can't. It's like, that's all there is to do is just eat, which is good because I mean, there's a lot of good food.
My very first cruise too was like right after I did a show, so it was great because then I looked great. But then also
that's fun.
Now it's time to cheat. You know what I mean? So I'm
fun.
like, I was like, this is perfect. This is what I ever want to do. Like the last one, because we've done a few cruises like for wrestling too, where I'm wrestling on the cruise. But then it sucks because then you can't really, 2 reasons, you can't really fully enjoy yourself because I got to perform every night. So I was like, working while we were vacationing, and then obviously the whole boat's full of fans, so it's like not the same, situation. It's still fun, but it gets a little.
What's that like? If you're on a boat full of fans,
even then it's not too overwhelming. Some people ask you stuff, but like there's like designated meet and greet time. So like usually, if people are like bugging you, most people don't, and they have. It's like, hey man, tomorrow at this time, that's like I just want to like chill and be have fun. Yeah. But it does get a little. The very first one I did, because I've done three or four. The very first one I did, it was a lot of fun. I did like that one a lot. The last couple are like. Especially the last one, it was still a good time, but also was like, I don't know if I want to do this again. Like it gets a little overkill. Yeah.
Well, since you seem to be coming out of this swimmingly, if I feel like everything is on track, you just got your clearance, you're good to go. What would you say to other people that are not just aspiring wrestlers, but any athlete who, has a moment like that, gets hurt, has time off, trying to make their way back? Since you seem to be such a master at it, what would you?
I would say that whether they've been hurt, are hurt, or going to get hurt, because I feel like everyone, if you're an athlete, it's gonna happen. You're gonna face it, and like I said, I feel like it's part of the deal too to really test, your thrive and ambition for whatever sport you're taking. And like I said, just as much as it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen to the next person too. It's part of the business. And I feel like you're allowed to have feelings about it, especially if it's your first time. It's not going to be uncommon. You're allowed to be upset and depressed and kind of down. Like you can embrace those feelings, but also realize that it's going to pass, that you're going to get through it, that you're going to get better. Probably not in the time that you'd like it to be, but it's going to get better. Also too, not to switch around the message of just motivation, but I'm also a very religious person, and I feel like, hey, stuff happens for a reason, and like I said, maybe it won't happen in your time, but it's going to happen in God's time for sure. And I feel like that definitely funny enough too, even though as detrimental that this knee injury was and how it changed a lot of things in the course of action in a negative way, there definitely was a lot of beneficial stuff, especially in my personal life, where I feel like in some ways it's almost a little bit of divine intervention.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I said, setbacks are reasons sometimes you don't know until after the fact, but I mean, yeah, you'll be able to get through, you'll be able to start anew, and I feel like it almost not only makes you a better athlete to push through it and come back stronger, but I feel like it just can make you a better person. So I think it just kind of like humbles you a little bit and changes the atmosphere, makes you more human, and then people can relate to you and want to see you come back and want to see you succeed, and gives you that empathy, and like it just, I don't know, like I have a friend who's a wrestler who broke his neck.
Yeah.
And I mean, like crazy broke his neck, and
he could still walk.
Completely paralyzed, couldn't move, couldn't feel anything.
Oh, no.
Never walking in situation. You know, here we are. What is it?
That's so
like not
sad.
even a year and a half afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, he can walk, he can box jump,
No
he can squat,
way.
he's starting to wrestle again slowly. Like it's.
Oh, that's,
I mean,
oh gosh, I love that.
It's far from where he'd like to be, but I mean, from where he was.
He's like, I just want to walk. Like
I mean, yeah. So it gives you that encouragement and that positive, and like, you know, just motivates you. Like, damn, if this guy's doing this, then what's my excuse? Kind of situation. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's not easy. You have to deep down have a lot of willpower, but I feel like that's the real testament to stuff is when you get injured, and you will get injured. Like it's just part of the nature of things. But I feel like it makes you a better person overall.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. I feel like setbacks are inevitable if you're shooting for something. If you get to a high level in anything, it's not. It's impossible to get to a high level without having multiple different setbacks. So the commonality that I see with the best of the best is that the setbacks happen more. There's more setbacks because you don't get to the top without a hell of a lot. But then the resilience and your ability to plow forward it's otherworldly. It's next level, Brian. Seriously.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, even before my first day back in the ring, I was rehabbing with my physical therapist before, and we're doing box jumps, all the different jump stuff, and I'm feeling good. And out of nowhere, for no reason, on a box jump, somehow I strained my back, like I was doing a crazy.
On a box jump?
Yeah, which makes no sense, right? I don't know. I can kind of credit to it.
Sometimes if you take
like,
for granted things that you can
well,
do.
I feel like maybe because I did so much glute and hamstring heavy leg day beforehand, they were so sore. So like maybe there was just no, like my posterior chain couldn't absorb the impacts from my lower back. I don't know. It made no sense. It was like I did a crazy heavy deadlift or stiff-legged deadlift and threw my back out, which I'm assuming you've done that before, and you know how it feels where you just can't move. But I'm like, no, I have to go to the ring. I go. Yeah. And now my knees aren't killing me, but my back is killing me. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I can't not go. And of course it's going to happen now.
It's always something stupid.
Right? So like out there, I'm like, okay. So for like the next 2 days, I had to go through that, and like my back's what's killing me, holding me up. But I'm like, no, I'm still going to go through. I'm still going to push through. Which exactly you said, like something simple like that happens. Where like, oh, and I can call in and be like, I can't do it. My back's killing me. I'm like, nope. It's going to be that much harder now, and it's not even what the injury I'm trying to come back from. But I'm like, all right, I don't know why they're trying to put this roadblock in front of me, but we're still going to get through that too. So like, but like I said, I feel like a lot of the time it's just testing that willpower and that determination to get through. It's like, do you want, you know, are you going to make it happen, or are you going to use it as an excuse?
I feel so motivated right now. We already worked out, but I feel like I want to go back there and do another workout.
It's fine. I'm going to do another workout when I get home. So.
All right. I know that wasn't good enough for you.
I mean, it's not going to be upper body thing. I'm going to do more of my leg
Don't
and knee
worry.
stuff.
So will I. So will I. No, but Brian, you're incredible. I'm so rooting for you. I feel like you're going to make your comeback, and it's going to be epic.
I can't wait, and I don't know when or where or even how.
Yeah.
There's a few different possibilities, but I'm.
You're itching.
Yes, and I hope it's almost too much now, because the longer it is and the more like I get hyped up. I started listening to the music. I don't want to like have too high of expectations. You know what I mean? I'm almost worried about that. Like hyping myself up too much to be like let down, where it won't be as good as I want it to be.
Here's my thing. This is my motto. This is what I always say. I'm known for this. I always say, get your hopes up, because when you have gone through everything that you've been through, if you are let down, it's something you can't handle.
Sure.
Whatever happens, if it's like the worst case scenario, it can't possibly be worse than anything that you've already had to go through.
True.
So I say get your hopes up, all in. Just go for it. Just expect the most, and then know that you can handle whatever happens.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, some people have said like, oh, you know,
Get your hopes up. Like,
right?
shoot.
Well, people like, well, for my
That's what I
birthday
say.
too, we're like, oh, I hope you have a great year. I go, well, it can't be worse than last year. So,
Get those hopes up. Nothing could be worse. Yeah.
so,
Oh my gosh. Well, let's go.
hell yeah.
Let's do this. Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
No worries there. Thank you.
Yes.
Who better?
Bam. Awesome.